Hello everyone and welcome to week 4 of the UBLN. Your New York Empoleons had some tough times last week with both the TBL and the UBLN. We had a bit of a rough go of it. If you do follow me in other places on social media, you'll know that my grandmother is sick and last week was crazy and I didn't actually get the time to do the stuff that I wanted to do. I am not somebody who makes excuses though, and we are back. We are still leading our division. Let's all take a deep breath. We're all good. Still pretty good differential. So we have possibly the hardest team that I've ever had to prep for in my entire life. Tornadus T, Nihilego, Jolteon, Politoed, Uxie, Piloswine, Tapu Bulu, Hydreigon, Ludicolo, Monferno, and Mega Aggron. Now this team, I literally sat down and tried to prep and I got 5 Pokemon deep and could not put this team together and ended up needing to crowdsource information. So I ended up team building with the entire TBL. And everyone pitched in to try to figure out how we were going to take down this team. This team is terrifying, and with good reason. I mean, it's an incredible team, very well built. Obviously, Tapu Bulu makes ground moves not as effective, but he's so weak to ground in other places that it makes you want to bring it. And it's just so tempting and so difficult to figure out what works. And I was sitting there okay, the Pokemon that had the most problems for me was definitely Hydreigon. I looked at Hydreigon and I said, I don't have any way of handling Hydreigon if I don't bring Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini hard counters it. I mean, it's just an incredible counter to Hydreigon. And I'm hoping he doesn't bring Hydreigon on the grounds that maybe Tapu Fini is good enough to stop him from bringing it, but it handles my entire team. And so I'm okay, I'm going to need answers to Hydreigon. But the thing is, okay, I'm going to bring Tapu Fini. And I'm well, but Nihilego, that counters it. And Jolteon handles it just fine. And Tornadus T doesn't care about it. And Uxie has no problem with it. Mega Aggron, does not care. And, there's just counter after counter after counter. And I was okay, I can't, Tapu Fini's out. So what about Registeel? Registeel counters Hydreigon okay. It's a pretty good check to it if it doesn't have Superpower or Fire Blast or any of the other Earth Power or anything else that it gets. So if it doesn't have moves, then I can counter it with Registeel. But obviously Registeel doesn't handle, it doesn't love handling a Jolteon. It doesn't, and if he puts that Tapu Bulu up and gets rid of ground coverage, it's not going to handle Nihilego. Tornadus T can hit it really hard with a Heat Wave. Piloswine can handle it, and Mega Aggron doesn't really take hits from it. And so it's okay, Registeel's out. What about Gliscor? Let's put in a counter, let's put in a wall. Maybe we'll just tank some hits from Hydreigon. And then I was okay, well, Jolteon and Nihilego are probably going to run Hidden Power Ice. He's got Piloswine with Ice priority. I just looked at his team, I was I have nothing. I have no answers to Hydreigon. So I'm looking at Hydreigon, and this whole team that you're going to see right here is how do I deal with Hydreigon? And if he brings it, let's get it off the field. So this is Ronald. Ronald, the Delphox, is going to be holding the Focus Sash. It's going to be max special attack, max speed, timid nature with 4 in HP, just to make it an odd number, in case he puts rocks up. This is a lead Delphox. It has Magician as its ability, and the goal of it is to come in and take a hit and get the other item, whatever that is. It's max speed, timid. Normally, I don't run standard set. This is not necessarily used in a standard way. Nihilego has base 103 speed, and Delphox has base 104 speed, so I needed max speed, timid, in order to outspeed Nihilego every time. Now, Nihilego is a pretty probable lead. Nihilego could lead. He could lead Jolteon. He could lead Hydreigon. He could lead Tapu Bulu. He could lead Mega Aggron. But this thing handles pretty much all those threats. So if Hydreigon or Nihilego isn't scarfed, then I outspeed and I can kill either of those. Psyshock kills Nihilego and Dazzling Gleam kills Hydreigon. So straight up, just kill it. Obviously, if it's a Focus Sash Nihilego, then it doesn't die, but I can take any one hit with my Focus Sash. If he does lead Mega Aggron, Fire Blast is a 2-hit KO on regular Aggron. There's a chance it OHKOs a Mega Aggron if he does Mega Evolve, but he doesn't have to, so he probably won't. I click Magic Coat and get the rocks on his side of the field. And then this thing, if it takes a hit, fine, I switch it out and could bring it back in later and get that Magician off later. If I don't take a hit, then I have my Focus Sash intact and the rocks are on his side of the field and I click Fire Blast. And then I managed to 2-hit KO Mega Aggron, and I'm okay with that. So this thing does handle most of his leads. The one big one that it doesn't really deal well with is Politoed. So if he does lead with the Politoed, then I'm going to have to figure out how to play around that. I don't see him bringing the Politoed against my team. It really doesn't handle my team that well, all in all. So I just don't see him bringing the Politoed Ludicolo combo, especially considering I do have access to Galvantula, and Galvantula does have Sticky Web. And Sticky Web this week is obviously going to be used. So I actually have 2 sashes this week. Galvantula is going to be holding the Focus Sash with Bug Buzz, Sticky Web, Thunder, and Light Screen. It's going to be a ton of speed, max special attack with a timid nature, which allows it to guarantee to outspeed Tornadus T if it's modest, or Nihilego every time. And this thing can OHKO, it can almost OHKO Hydreigon with Bug Buzz. That's a really big thing. It doesn't quite get that OHKO if I don't have rocks up. Thunder can do a ton of damage to Politoed. It can do a ton of damage to Tornadus T. Obviously, Jolteon can switch into a Thunder, but that's what Light Screen's for. And Sticky Web, I really do want Sticky Web up this week. He does have 2 possible Defoggers in Hydreigon and Tornadus T. Both of them don't get hit by the Sticky Web, so they both stay their speed and then get that Defog off. So I do have to watch out for that. But I really do want Webs up this week because it really does help the rest of my team. As you can see, it's not very fast. We do have a little bit of speed investment, though, in this team. So we got Boom goes the Dynamite, Boom Bursting, X-Block coming for the first time. It's going to be Choice Specs. Focus Blast, Ice Beam, and Earthquake, literally just to round that out. Earthquake is for Nihilego, it OHKOs it, and it doesn't, and I don't learn Earth Power. So as long as Tapu Bulu's terrain isn't up, Nihilego resists all my other moves, and I can just Earthquake it. A lot of HP, max special attack, modest nature, and 76 speed means that I outspeed everything except Nihilego and Jolteon, and obviously the things that are off the ground after Sticky Webs are up. So that's what I was going for with this set. So if I can get those Sticky Webs up, I outspeed everything except Tornadus T, Nihilego, Jolteon, Uxie, and Hydreigon, which is like half his team. But everything else I outspeed. And so that allows me to click Boom Burst. Boom Burst 2-hit KOs literally everything on his team except for Nihilego. So especially if he does lead Nihilego and I am able to lead my Delphox and kill it, then that's great because Boom Burst 2-hit KOs Mega Aggron. I know it's resisted, but that thing's special attack isn't all that, and it 2-hit KOs Mega Aggron. It 2-hit KOs Uxie, max special attack, calm-natured Uxie, not max special defense, calm-natured Uxie, 2-hit KO'd by a Boom Burst, even with leftovers recovery. So, as long as he's like not Assault Vested, but this thing, without Assault Vest, this thing rips through teams. And if I can get those webs up, and if I can get this thing in late game, and just click Boom Burst a few times, that should be able to close out a game. So I don't want to bring this thing in too early. If possible, I will bring it in earlier to force a switch. Like if I'm at full health, I can take any hit from a Hydreigon with this spread, and so I might bring it in on that. I might bring it in on like the Tornadus T, but he might knock off, so I want to avoid that. So I definitely want to make sure that I get this thing in safely once the rocks are up, once the webs are up, and get off some huge Boom Bursts. Now I do have Soundproof, not Scrappy, because he doesn't have a Ghost type, so I don't need Scrappy. And I don't see him bringing anything sound-based, but he could run Parasong Politoed, who knows? So it does just give me that little answer to things like that, so I'm not... I mean, the ability was nothing special, it just didn't need to be Scrappy, so it's not. Next up, we have Skadin, the Breloom, holding the Choice Band, max attack, adamant nature, 60 speed. You'll see to hit that 98 again. That 98 is important just to outspeed everything except for the aforementioned things, which is half his team, and the rest got dumped into HP. Now this thing is Mach Punch, Bullet Seed, Rock Tomb, and Drain Punch. Holding that Choice Band, it's mostly going to come in and click Mach Punch to get rid of threats. Mach Punch from a Choice Banded Breloom is a guaranteed OHKO on a non-defensively invested Hydreigon, which is huge. It has a 68.8% chance to OHKO a Nihilego after rocks. It's a guaranteed OHKO on Jolteon after rocks. It can 2-hit KO Eevee like Piloswine. It can 2-hit KO Ludicolo. It does like 70% to Ludicolo, so if he does get the rain up, this thing can come in on the Ludicolo pretty safely and get that up. It OHKOs Monferno. It is a 3-hit KO on the Mega Aggron, which is why I have the Drain Punch instead, if I can get the Choice Band into the Drain Punch. Now, Bullet Seed, I mean, I might click Bullet Seed. It's unlikely I'm really going to click anything else aside from the Mach Punch on anything, except for maybe Uxie, I guess. And then the Rock Tomb is really just for Tornadus T. If I'm predicting that switch in, it gives me that answer to that, but I just don't see myself clicking really anything but Mach Punch on this thing. It comes in, it clicks Mach Punch, it gets out, and it survives for another day. Now, what does it switch out into? It switches out into Shakespeare. First time we're bringing our Dusknoir this season, and Dusknoir is going to be Pain Split, Shadow Sneak, Will-O-Wisp, and Counter. Now, it has to be pressure because it has counter, which is only accessible in 3rd gen as a Dusclops, and has to be evolved into a Dusknoir later. So I can't have Frisk, unfortunately. I would have loved to have Frisk. It just gives you so much information, so much insight into your opponent's team. But I can't do it this week because I am running counter. Max defense with an impish nature and a 36 HP allows me to guaranteed take a grassy terrain boosted wood hammer from a max attack adamant Tapu Bulu. And I counter and it dies. Tapu Bulu's dead. Will-O-Wisp is there in case I think he's going to switch into something like the Piloswine, or even just, you know, something that's not even physical like Nihilego or Jolteon, or Tornadus T potentially, if I'm not sure counter's going to work. Shadow Sneak is my little bit of priority on this thing just to get an offensive move in there. And Pain Split is... it's a useful move, I think. I'm not running much HP investment intentionally because I want to make sure that the Pain Split gets off as much HP back to me as possible. And so if I can get like the Tapu Bulu countered and then manage to get a Pain Split on something else, potentially that would really start to wear down his team. Now, I didn't really care about the speed on this thing, so 66 speed really doesn't actually outspeed that much, even after the sticky webs, but it can outspeed Piloswine after the sticky webs and potentially like a Politoed that's not invested. So it can like outspeed some uninvested stuff, and if the sticky webs are up, then Pain Split can be really, really valuable later on in the mid game. So this thing, it's a pivot switch. It's mostly defensive. Obviously, that 212 special defense obviously doesn't hurt it. It can take some special hits on that side as well. But it's really kind of a pivot for me to like. Breloom comes in, I switch into this thing, I can get a Pain Split or Will-O-Wisp off, get a safe switch into something else after that. And lastly, we have Metronome. Metronome is going to be holding our Ice EMZ this week, one of our 3 Z users. We haven't used it yet before. And it's going to have Ice Beam, Earth Power, Transform, and Sludge Wave. Like I said, it's so tempting to bring that the ground coverage because of his team being so weak to it, even though he's brought Bulu every week and I expect him to keep bringing it. Special attack maxed out with 244 plus nature in speed. Now this thing is level 100, so I can correct that. But the reason it's level 100 is because I am using its specific hidden power on it. Though you don't see it. Why won't you go to level 50? Please do the thing that I want you to do. My keyboard decided it's not going to work right now. That's really, really nice. There we go. So keyboard finally decided it was going to work. But this thing is 166 speed, which allows it to outspeed a Hydreigon every time. Ice Beam has a really solid chance to OHKO Hydreigon after within the ICMZ. Sludge Wave is needed to OHKO Tapu Bulu if he brings that in, which I obviously outspeed as well. Earth Power OHKOs Nihilego. And so I've got answers to a lot of his team. This allows me to hit the Ludicolo a lot harder as well with the Sludge Wave. And so the Transform is the interesting one here. Now that speed investment allows me to outspeed a lot of his team and everything after Sticky Webs. That includes the Jolteon, which I can turn into. I can become a Jolteon with Volt Absorb, get some HP back if he tries to Volt Switch off of me. He's probably not going to expect that Transform if the Sticky Webs are up. And he's not Choice Scarf Jolteon, which I just don't see coming. And I get that Volt Absorb, and then I'm not Choice Scarfed, so I would be a speed tie with his Jolteon. We'll see what his set is. I would expect him to maybe have Hidden Power Ice on his Jolteon, and so I am actually going to be running Hidden Power Ground IVs on this Mew. And the Hidden Power Ground IVs will allow me to hit the Nihilego or the Jolteon that's coming prepped for my Gliscor with Hidden Power Ice, as I'm expecting them to. So I'm predicting him to have the hidden powers that he needs in order to counter some of the things that I didn't even bring, and use that against him on this Mew, so turn into the Jolteon and then Hidden Power Ground it back. Is that a super reliable strategy? I don't know, but we're going to find out. It should be super fun. Either way, this battle is crazy. I spent so long prepping for this battle that I am, like, overwhelmed with information right now about his team. I hope that you guys enjoy the battle tomorrow. I will see you guys then. It's going to be a wild one either way. This is a good team, and this is a match that I feel like if we're going to win this league, this is a match that I have to prove that I can win. And I think I prepped for it really well. I think that the TBL, shout outs to you guys for helping me prep this team. And we'll see how it goes, but I think it should be a good time. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.